Hello, fellow disc golf enthusiasts from around the world, and welcome back to coverage of the 2023 European Masters Disc Golf Championships, a prestigious event at the biggest scale. We are bringing you MP40 Round 2 Front 9 lead card coverage, brought to you by MDG Media. I'm Connor Wood, and with me, Stanislaus Amann.
Hello guys, I'm super excited for this second round. We have KJ in the lead. Few other guys just hunting him down. Let's see how this plays out.
You mentioned our leader here, KJ Nybo, coming in, defending his championship here as your European Masters 2021 champion and 9 times Danish champion. Has a great resume, certainly going down in history.
For sure. Anders Swärd, Team Discmania player out of Sweden. Very, very solid player. Coming in hot with a 10 down in the first round. Excited if he can keep up that pace, challenging KJ.
We see Tapani Aulu. Was fortunate to see him in round 1 as well. Had a fantastic round, finding himself here tied in third, representing Finland in this tournament. His forehand and backhand versatile skill set really benefited him here in round 1, and happy to have him joining us for round 2 as well.
Yeah, and last but not least, Kaspersen out of Norway, rounding up our perfectly international Northern European card. Only rated 942, but definitely a solid player as he makes the lead cut here. Excited to see if he can keep up the pace as well. So here we go, hole number 1, starting off on a par 4. The opening shot basically is just a big swinging hyzer. It's about 110 meters to the perfect landing zone. It's all about placement. There is an OB bunker on the left side of the gap. And then there's a approximately 70 meters long gap just to the basket. You need to have a good position in order to approach the basket properly. Otherwise you will be scrambling for your par most likely.
As we'll have KJ get us started here. And in round 1, he pushed it just a little bit too long. We'll look to see him make the correction and have a more open entrance to that tunnel. He does flirt with the edge of that line, but keeps himself on the safe side.
Yeah, but that's honestly a little bit short of the tunnel, so this is definitely going to be a hard approach again. So not really in perfect position for the birdie. Anders, on the other hand, he plays it way wider, is further away from the woods, and has probably a bit more angle to attack the basket.
We see Tapani here playing a lot more to the width, more on that right side, although it requires more distance to the green. Certainly opens up the angle, and that should be a nice opportunity for him.
Yeah, for sure. So it's definitely smart to not try to play too close to the woods, because then you really have only 3-4 meters to land within to have a good approach on the second one. On basically doing just what I mentioned, playing it wide, leaving it quite a bit from the woods to have a little bit longer but more gettable shot.
I touched on the extra distance for Tapani there. You see him ranging it just to be sure. We go to run.
Yeah, this is probably just below 100 meters, so definitely a full shot. Not sure where that ended up though. Tapani also, that looks a little bit like an early release. Sneaking up, maybe just circle's edge here.
Certainly gives him a chance. Anders here, shaping one really nicely down the tunnel. That soft flip up and slide. Some nice angle control to make his way to just 4 or 5 meters. KJ here pinched, as you touched on, Stan, and able to shape a really nice turnover forehand with the late stability. That was a great shot.
Oh yeah, that was a really great one. High technicality on this one. As we see some birdie putts coming up. Ron, first of all, just approaching his third, almost throws it in. that's going to be an easy par for him. The other threes are looking at some birdies maybe.
And certainly in round one, we saw some incredible putting on the green from the Masters. They have a great touch and a lot of experience on full display here.
Good start for Anders. Making sure that pretty short birdie putt just finds the chains. KJ also left with only 3 meters most likely. That's almost bullseye. What an incredible second shot by him, honestly.
Really smooth as we see those first 3 players secure their birdies. Ron here for his par. And will fall now to solo 4th as we kick off round 2.
Yeah, pretty good start for our Master Elite card today. Hole 2, a straight tunnel. Comes in at 95 meters. It definitely plays a little bit better for the forehand as it turns right at the end, but the backhand is playable as well for sure. Just a slight turnover is needed in that case. I guess Tapani is going for the sidearm, all the others most likely playing the backhand.
We see KJ looking to shape this one here. Similar to round 1, really playing the width and relying on that late turnover. I think still a little bit wide than his intended line, but looks like he was able to give himself a long look. Anders, with that low laser, great slide up.
Yeah, probably just finding himself in circle 2. Tapani, sidearm play. He was quite early in round 1, does the correction this time, hits the tunnel perfectly, and fades just before this bunker of trees on the backside of the green. Should be well inside the circle there.
Ron here with a nice late turn and enough height to push it, but finds just the early right side, trying to access the green, and will be left with a scramble putt. We go to Anders from circle 2, gives it a decent bit there and leaves himself quite close. Should be an easy 3. We go to KJ.
Ooh, nice and spinny from circle 2, just barely not able to connect. A little bit on the right side. Ron here with the scrambled putt. Just leaves it a tiny bit low.
Tapani with the great correction and great start here, going 2 through 2 as he looks to push the gap between Anders, KJ, and himself. He'll take a stroke here on some of his card mates.
Yeah, totally nice start for the Finnish Master. It's looking like it's gonna be an exciting battle. Things are tight. I'm wondering if some of the guys can separate themselves a little bit as the tournament proceeds. So this is only the second round of 4, but now so far things are looking quite tight and interesting. We just saw some par tap outs and we move on to hole number 3, which is basically one of the easiest ones on the whole course. 70 meter straight line, most likely a putter or maybe a mid-range shot. You just need to pick a disc that flies as straight as possible. There's like a bunch of pretty thick trees behind the basket, so going long definitely not preferable. Still you can manufacture some kind of putt if that may be the case. Let's see what is Tapani's straightest disc.
Looks to have a great line here, piercing very cleanly down the tunnel and look to be finishing softly to the left. Very nice line. KJ here looking to match. Opts for a slightly lower release, but does get caught up in that lush grass and soft bush there. Will leave himself with a softly downhill putt. This is Anders.
Yeah, really nice shot by the Swedish guy. You can really see here the woods. It almost looks a little bit like a jungle. You really don't want to be off the fairway here. Better hit your gap. You can end up in some really tough positions here as well, even though it is maybe the easiest birdie on the whole course. Looks like a really nice line from Ron as well.
Gives it a nice driven shot there. On the soft hyzer we see, a very close chance for KJ there. Just off the metal. And here is Ron, his putt for birdie.
Gets it in the basket. Beautiful. 1 down after 3. That's a solid start. Calming down the nerves maybe a little bit for the outsider on the group, I would almost say. Tapani with the absolute perfect turkey to start.
Yeah, hasn't thrown a bad shot yet. You see KJ and Anders now. Their short putts remaining. Beautiful tap in birdie for Anders. Getting to 2 under through the first 3. We see all of these guys attacking the course. And it is very attackable with some good placement shots. What do we have here, Sten?
Yeah, it is. It is just another placement shot here on hole number 4. Basically almost the same shot as the drive on the previous one to open up. After about 80 meters, the hole turns, makes a dogleg left, and it's another 80 meters to the basket. Definitely a placement kind of par 4. No chance to gain anything with like an aggressive shot off the tee. So just throw it nice and straight and hopefully end up with a good position for the next.
You see Tapani here going to be tested with his perfect start, but that is a great shot there. Put himself right up. Will have a choice between which gap he wants to use to the left or right of the trees just in front of his lie. Anders here going with a little bit more stability to his flight and does look to maybe cut the corner on the inside.
Yeah, I think he just came up short of the second fairway, so I'm curious what he will be left with. Also Ron not hitting the gap, the opening gap ideally. That might be a scramble for the par as well.
A lot of these holes really requiring a good command with the low speed disc from all of these guys showing great touch. KJ, comfortable hyzer flip player, getting this one just dead straight, slides right up in front of Tapani's. Pretty ideal placement.
Yeah, absolute perfect. So Ron here, still in the first fairway, needs to just lay it up to the corner. Looks like he did that nicely. Oh, and that's an interesting line. That's the backside fairway. A pretty wild kind of fairway, honestly, but definitely an option if you're coming up short like Anders did.
Tapani continues throwing some incredible shots, puts himself at the mouth of the tunnel, is able to get just past the basket, a few meters away. He looks to continue that perfect start. KJ now also has a nice access with this soft turnover, finding the late stability here. You see that forwards pushing flight, really nice as well.
Yeah, 2 great looks at birdie here as Ron tries to save his par.
And Anders here from that backdoor angle, still with some distance remaining, opting to just shape the forehand out, and he's done so nicely. Leaves him with that short putt for his par. As we move now to the green.
So how far is this for Tapani? Maybe like 8-9 meters? Or maybe just a little bit longer?
I believe that was Ron. Or?
Yeah. The white shirt confuses me. That was run for the par save, most likely. Tapani is almost parked, I think. Yeah. Just an unfortunate slip out of the basket. Not quite a spit out, but yeah.
Tapani here, riding his momentum and fantastic execution. So he goes 4 down through 4, and KJ does find his birdie there, and going 2 down through 4 is able to maintain a 2-stroke lead over Tapani. Anders, however, with that par, has now 1 stroke between him and third place. Ron finding a little bit of trouble here on hole 4. We'll look to see him bounce back.
Totally. Next one. Straight ahead, the next option for a birdie. So as you see, this course plays pretty attackable. This one is a par 4 coming in at 190 meters. Opening shots, basically it's a wide swinging hyzer. Objective number 1 is to hit the gap. Objective number 2 is to be as left as possible to attack this basket on this second fairway, again on a hyzer angle. If you straighten out your drive too much, you might be left with a pretty tricky upshot, or maybe not an option for birdie at all.
And Tapani keeps it quite low, does hit the ground fairly early, but gets some fade there. We'll see if it was far enough left. Might have to be going for a forehand on his second shot, but I'm sure he'll be comfortable with that if needed. KJ here, a more traditional line, more hyzer angle and more height, allowing that fade to really extend out to the left.
Yeah, absolutely perfect thrown. Anders as well, swinging it quite wide, but gets it out super nicely. That's a big drive. That's far enough left. Great chance for a birdie.
We get to see where Ron's at now after some troubles on hole 4. Good looking line for him here as well, especially with that extra little ground play at the end. Further left that he moves there, it will open up his angle pretty significantly. We have his view here now, pretty much blind to the basket, looking to shape this long anhyzer and potentially find the late fade to push the flex. And he's done well to give himself a look there. Snuck inside the circle.
Yeah, well thrown. As you mentioned, Tapani here going to the forehand on his second shot. Quite low, but looks like it's keeping up nicely. Almost hits the basket.
Can you imagine going 6 down through the first 5? If that had skipped in 4 birdies and an eagle, wow, that was an incredible delivery to the green there for Tapani.
He is so hot for the moment. So let's see if he can keep that up for the whole front nine, maybe. As KJ doesn't fall back at all and just parks the hole.
Anders with a great looking line here. He is right up. Absolutely parked.
Yeah. Upshot game on its finest, what you see here. Amazing.
And Ron left with the longest putt. A beautiful delivery right there at a critical moment. After falling back a little bit, pushes his round score back to even with that straddle.
Yeah,
really
super nice and spinny. Yeah. Everything else basically parked. Everyone just getting some birdies. Oh, they are doing the Starframe celebration here. Very nice. That's what we want to see.
The Masters carrying on the European traditions at this historic stage.
Yeah, and I guess this one is a pretty birdable hole as well. Maybe also playing on the easier side. Par 4 at 175 meters. There's OB all the way on the left side. There's a pretty thick kind of wood to the right side. And there's 2 OB bunkers just in the middle of the fairway. You're looking to clear the first one on your drive. And then take the basket just with the second shot. Forehand, definitely a nice play if you have it off the tee as it fades away from the OB. Tapani just looking good there for another birdie.
Certainly looking to go forehand for him. KJ playing that soft hyzer again. This one really risking the OB, but able to find that late push to cleanly land in that sweet spot. Interesting to see all of these guys looking to just place it between the two islands, still from that range attackable for birdie, and quite a generous size. As you see, Anders really pushed the distance there compared to the other two, and still quite safe. That's a nice shot.
Ron also with a pretty controlled drive here. Just in perfect position. So, still everyone with a chance for the birdie.
We have KJ up first. Going backhand, we see this long left to right shape that he's produced and able to find his way on the green, putting away from the bushes. Should allow him full confidence there on that attempt. And Tapani here, also in a great spot, shaping his comfortable and natural forehand hyzer. Although coming in quite fast, he'll be left with those branches in his way. May have to drop to the knee even.
Yeah, that's a little tester to keep the fire up. Run here. Nice straight backhand approach. He's asking it to fade away from the bushes. I'm not sure where exactly did that end up, but I think at least somewhere in the circle.
And Anders, with considerably less distance to the pin, just gets what looks to be his putter straight at it. And a great touch, very straight flight, minimal ground play with the low speed disc choice. Very nicely done. As you said, Anders' upshot game, just super clean. Run there with a chance off the strong side chains. Very close. We see Tapani here to continue and maintain his perfect start.
Oh, that looked quite good, but just misses it on the strong side. KJ also just straddling out the bush. And he gets it. Beautiful spin putt here. Very nice. 4 down through 6. That's not a bad start at all.
I think certainly one of KJ's skills, that stabby putt out of the bushes. He's really good at controlling those angles and height. We see Tapani there coming back for a par. And Anders here for his birdie. Very nicely done. Textbook execution. As we see KJ and Anders now just one apart, going stroke for stroke on the last 2 holes. Some great golf being played here on MDG Media.
it doesn't matter. Nice, Tapani.